Well, tonight we're very happy to welcome one guest who is a country music legend with multiple ACM and CMA wins and Grammy nominations, and another relative up-and-comer who you may remember from season 10 of The Voice. We have David Frizzell with us, along with Mary Sarah. Guys, thanks so much for coming on my show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Going to be a big time.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So the main reason we're talking tonight is it is the 40-year anniversary of a huge hit from 1981. You're the reason God made Oklahoma. David, you and Shelley West actually put that song out, and it was your first number one hit back in 1981. And now Mary Sarah, I guess, is helping you celebrate it.
Time to do it again. It's 40 years, a long time. And I tell you what, we've sang that song just about everywhere in the world. So now it was so nice to go in and do a kind of a fresh up on it. And we had some of the best musicians in the world joined us in the studio. And Mary Sarah came in and just sang her heart right on out. And it was just knocked out. And the whole song is so beautiful.
So, Mary, how did you end up getting to be a part of this?
Man, right place at the right time, honestly. So David and I had the honor of getting to meet each other. Probably I would say it's been about a year now. But it was kind of midst of COVID. We were able to do a show here in Tennessee. And it was my first time getting to meet David. He was headlining the show. And I just got to sing a couple songs to open up for him with a couple other artists. And so I got done singing, and I mean, literally, I walk right off the stage, and David's standing right there, and he just wraps me in a hug, and he's like, "Man, girl, we got to do something together. We got to work together." And so that might have planted a seed in my head. 'Cause I grew up on David's music. My dad, at a young age, introduced me to classic country, and so I was actually born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then I raised in Texas, and so growing up singing, my dad, he would always sing that song to me, and we actually would sing it together. And so when David said that to me, I just thought, I went to my dad and just said, "You're not going to believe this, but David Frizzell wants to work with me."
Wow.
And of course, my dad, being the jukebox he is, goes, "Well, you do know the 40th anniversary of You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma is coming up." And I'm like, "How do you know that?" Right off the top of your head. But he planted that seed too, and then we discussed it with the teams, and it's just blossomed to what it is now. And it's a song we've updated it just a little bit, but really the song, it's already stood the test of time, so it really didn't need much updating at all. And man, has David even just he sings it even better now, I think, than he probably did then. So.
Well, I loved the original, and then when I heard your version, I thought, wow, Mary really adds something to this. Your voice just sounds lovely on it. David, what was it that drew you to Mary? Why did you pick her? Because you probably could have had your choice of somebody to sing this with you.
When I heard it on that show, we did a show together, as she mentioned, and it was here in Nashville, and I got a chance to hear a few of the acts that was on there, singing that night, and she was the one that absolutely blew me away. And I don't know, it's just something about her, the texture of her voice is just incredible. And it's infectious, and it just kind of keeps it on your mind. You know what I mean? Is that making sense? But you know what? She just brings another little thing to it. And that song, there's number one songs, and then there are number one songs. This is one of those that just kind of breaks all the mold of anything around it. And adding her to the song now, it just put another little beautiful part to it. And I'm glad that she even wanted to. And then here she is, bless her heart, Mary Sarah.
Thank you, David.
Well, it's so good to have you both on, and I kind of want to get into a little bit of the history behind the song, it being exactly 40 years old this year. And I didn't know until I read this that I guess Clint Eastwood somehow helped to get the song off the ground by making it part of his movie back then. Do you know the story behind that?
Oh God, I was the story behind that. Okay. We had a chance to. I had a chance to meet some of the people down in L.A. Snuff Garrett being one of the ones that I really want to mention. and Steve Dorff. These guys are great producers and just great people that I had a chance to work with. I got with Snuff Garrett, and he was a producer of Clint Eastwood's soundtracks for his movies, and also I might mention Burt Reynolds' movies as well. Just great music back in those days, and I got a chance to meet him. And I sent him a song that me and Shelley West had recorded in Buck Owens' studio there in Bakersfield. I sent him the song because I got his address somehow or other, and I sent it to him. And about 2 days after I sent it to him, he called me on the phone, and he said, "David," he said, "man, I love the song. I love those days, but you didn't send me any pictures. I don't know what you look like." He said, "Send me a picture of what you look like, and if you look anything like you sound," he said, "I'm going to make you and Shelley West the next Sonny and Cher of country music." And I was pretty blown away by that statement. And so when I took some pictures, sent them down there to him, and he started looking for songs, and he signed us to his record label. And we signed with a record label called Casablanca, and then they were going to call it Casablanca West. So that'd be the country division of Casablanca Records. And David Nelson was over there. You remember the Nelson family, Ricky Nelson, David Nelson?
Yeah.
Well, he was working over there, David was. So I got a chance to meet him. And we took the whole idea over him, and they signed us to the record label. We went and did the album. It took us a little while to get it done, but we went and got it done. By the time we got back to them with the record, they had changed CEOs, and the new CEO did not want anything to do with country music. They had other people on their record label, and they didn't want any country music on there. So we were all of a sudden without a record label. Snuff Garrett had a chance to play the song for Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood, after hearing the song, he said, "Man, that's a pistol. Let's put that in my next movie." And so they did. They put it in their movie called Any Which Way You Can, along with Clyde the Orangutan. And Frizzell and West had their first #1 record. And now Mary Sarah's singing that song with me now. Isn't that amazing?
That's right, yeah. 40 years later, Mary Sarah, who, again, took, I guess it was 5th place on season 10 of The Voice. Am I right about that, Mary?
You are.
And they brought you back for season 11 as well. What was that experience like for you?
It was incredible. It really, I've been doing music for quite a long time, but when The Voice came around, it was something that I really had never done anything like it. You know, getting to be out in LA and this camera crews and getting to work with Blake Shelton and
well, that ought to do it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another Oklahoma guy.
Yeah, another Oklahoma guy, and he shares a love of classic country like I do. So we really did get along very well, and so it was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. But I'm just so thankful for it because it really it took my music to a whole nother level and my fan base to a whole another level. Just to be able to tour a whole lot more and really make music the sole thing that I'm able to do as a job and. Which I don't really even consider a job, but it was an incredible experience. It was amazing.
And you mentioned you knew a lot about David's music before you even, teamed up with him. So you were probably familiar with songs like "I'm Going to Hire a Wino to Decorate Our Home," and "Lost My Baby Blues." Where are you spending your nights?
We've already talked about possibly "Gotta Hire a Wino" as the next duet we do.
Oh, really? Really?
Well, we've had a lot of people ask us about, if we're going to do anything else, and that was kind of somewhat an idea. We're definitely going to continue to work together, and hopefully we're definitely in talks about getting a tour together, so we'll have to come say hello. And actually, too funny, I was telling David right before this, I actually dated a guy who went to Southeast Missouri State.
Oh.
And so I spent a little bit of time in Cape Girardeau down there.
That is our university right here in Cape. That's exactly right. That's pretty cool.
That is nice.
Speaking of, I'm going to hire a wino to decorate our home, David, is that probably the song you're most well known for, maybe outside of You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma?
No doubt about that. Absolutely now. That song was so, there again, I mentioned earlier about there are number one songs, and then there are number one songs.
Right.
That is another one of those. That thing not only went number one on all the country charts, but it also went in the pop charts. So that made it even stronger. And what an amazing career to have. I mean, a lot of great songs. There's a lot of great songs in my life, but those particular two are more than you could ask for. You know what I mean? They just became bigger than anything. And so I've toured all over the world singing those two songs and everything else. And I've been lucky enough to, when I go on the shows, to be doing, I can always do big number one records, that most of them that I had. And if I run out of singing mine, I'll get over my big brother Lefty and sing his. They were all number one songs, too.
Boy, yeah. You talk about country music royalty. Lefty Frizzell, your older brother, boy. And you wrote a book, I Love You 1,000 Ways, 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Now that book has come out. Of course, that was the name of one of his big hits, too.
Has it been that long? I didn't know it.
2011. 2011 is what I read.
I'll be darned. Well, I'll be darned. Well, I started writing it when I got to Nashville in 81. I came to Nashville in 1981 with the song "You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma." When I pulled into Nashville and it said "Welcome to City Limits of Nashville," whatever, it was April the 11th, and that song went number one that day. And I knew that when you come to Nashville, you don't come to Nashville without a hit song. You better have a hit song. You get treated a lot different if you come to the town with "You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma" number one. Yeah, it's a little different in the treatment. And my brother Lefty had been trying to get me to come to Nashville for a long time. He moved here in 61, I think it was. I didn't get here till 81, but I came in with a big old number one record. And now I got Mary Sarah singing that baby with me. How do you like that? How do you like that kind of thing?
You two sound good together, and obviously Shelley West, she has long since retired, and so you and Mary Sarah, we kind of know that story. How did you and Shelley end up working together?
Well, actually, I was working out in Bakersfield, California, out there with a great Buck Owens and that whole thing he had going out there. And my brother Alan had come to Nashville because my brother Lefty was here. Lefty moved back in 1960, 61. And so my brother Alan came out here while he was working with Dottie West. Mm-hmm. And Shelley West was singing background on Dottie's shows. Somehow or other they got together, decided to go out on their own, ended up coming out to Bakersfield, California. And I started taking them with me on all the shows, and they were helping me. My brother Alan is a great guitar player. And not only is he a great guitar player, but he's also a great singer and songwriter. He does everything. And so I took him into the studio there at Buck Owens Studio, and I was singing a song. I wanted to record a song, and it sounded better as a duet. So I asked Shelley to sing certain words. And so when I got through with it, I sent that song down to Snuff Garrett, who was doing soundtracks for the great Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood heard the song going on. That's the way. You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma. He heard that song, and he told Snuff. He said, "Let's put that in my movie any which way you can." So that's how we got started. Was with those guys taking that song and putting me and Shelley on it, and it went number one around the world.
Wow! So not only is it the 40-year anniversary of that song, but that's also the song that got you two started together. Very interesting. So, Mary, were you a big fan of Shelley and Dottie West growing up?
I listened a little bit. I do. I love their music, and I love what I appreciate about, I guess, that classic country sound is that there were real singers. The thing about the females too, they were powerhouse singers, and Shelley was one of them that could just take a room, and David even talks about hearing her for the first time sing to him, that it just takes your breath away. And so I was a huge fan then and still am now. But as well as other singers like Loretta and Tammy Wynette and all those. I grew up singing those in the Opry circuit in Texas. And so, that's really where, I think a lot of my sound vocally, I can't really get away from. I can't get rid of that, classic sound. But I was raised on it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good sound to be stuck to. Nothing wrong with that.
For sure.
Man, don't ever unstick with that because That is really that. You really got it down, girl.
Thank you.
By the way, some of those other big Frizzell and West hits include Texas State of Mind, Husbands and Wives, which has since been covered again by Brooks and Dunn. It was a Roger Miller song first, wasn't it, David?
Roger Miller, it sure was.
Yeah.
I remember Roger. Oh, yeah, Roger. He told me one time we was coming into Nashville together. He was doing something special at the Grand Ole Opry. And I met him at the airport there, and we got together for a minute. He said, David, I've heard that song. He said, I got to tell you, your version is my favorite. I said, I got to tell you, your version is my favorite. But I love me some Roger Miller. Boy, he is amazing.
Yes, he is.
Awesome.
Yeah. Another Honky Tonk night on Broadway. I just came here to dance. So you guys just had so many good songs together. Your careers kind of took off there together in the early 80s, didn't they?
It sure did. Well, actually, nobody knew who David Frizzell and Shelley West was, basically. But after the Oklahoma came out, it took two people that nobody knew and made them household names around the world. I mean, I had people, when I was playing in Japan, I was over there for a week. We were doing concerts, and thousands of people would come out. I signed autographs from people in Japan that knew who David Frizzell was. There you go. And the UK, all those different places, we sang "You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma," and I'm going to hire. Well, I know we did that one too, as you can imagine. But it was nice to hear Shelley singing harmony with me on that one. She sang harmony with me on all of them.
Yeah.
She's an amazing, talented lady, and this lady that we're talking to today is just crammed full of talent. This young lady.
Yes, sir. And that young lady is David's newest duet partner, Mary Sarah. Mary and David Frizzell are with us tonight on K103. And David, you talked about how nobody really knew who you were until you started singing with Shelley. But, you had a famous brother in Lefty Frizzell. You probably could have used that more than you did. You probably wanted to make it more on your own, didn't you?
Well, I had a chance to. There was a few songs in before the Oklahoma song, like L.A. International Airport, and I Just Can't Help Believing, and all those other songs that I had. I had a lot of top 10. I had a few top 10, top 20 things, but the Oklahoma song was bigger than any number one song. It was a big number one record, and that came along in 1981 and kind of changed my whole scene. My brother Lefty had passed away in 1975, and so I lost him, so this has started a whole new career with David Frizzell and Shelley West together.
Now, Lefty was 13 years older than you, if I did my math right. So what was it like growing up in the same house with him for the years that you did have together?
We were like buddies. We traveled all over the country together. We did all those honky tonks all over Texas. He was working one honky tonk after another, bless his heart. He had the kind of music that went for honky tonks. If you got the money, I got the time. What a great song. Mm-hmm. And all of them, number one, Mom and Dad Waltz and Always Late with Your Kid, all those great songs. And he always told me, be on the lookout for a hit song, buddy, because that's how you got to get them. You got to go get them yourself. And so I ended up doing that, and now I'm asking Mary Sarah to sing this song with me, and she is incredible. I'd like to know how people, when they hear it tonight, I hope they like it.
We'll ask for some feedback for sure, Mary.
Yeah.
So Mary, what's going to be next for you? You talked about possibly doing some more duets with David, but solo-wise, do you have anything planned coming up?
I do. I'm actually, in the studio right now working on some new stuff. So it got postponed a little bit just because, this last year I think everything got postponed.
Yes,
a little bit. So we're getting back into the swing of things, and so I'm hoping the new record is probably going to be out beginning of next year. But in the meantime, we're working this song, and hopefully we're talking in talks about getting together and performing it and getting back out there to the fans and singing it for them. So we're working on that. And if anybody wants to just keep up with that, we're all over social media. But you can go ahead and find us on our websites, which is davidfrizzell.com and marysarah.com. And we keep those pretty updated on what's going on. So, when we get that tour figured out, we'll put it up there real quick.
You know what, guys? It's not a good feeling to be postponed.
It is not. Yeah.
I don't like that feeling.
We've been feeling it for going on a year and a half. We need to stop feeling that.
Yeah, about had it with it. About had it with it.
Sure.
So again,
But I thank you, buddy, for having us on with you today.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
No problem at all. We sure appreciate your time. We're going to play the song this Saturday night. We're going to ask fans to reach out and tag you guys on social media and tell us what they think of it, okay?
I love it.
Thank you, Glenn, so much. Have a blessed day.